right, welcome back. Whitlock and Wiley, joined now by longtime NBA player Cuttino Mobley. Let's move to the Lakers, who are already looking toward next year with rumors flying about who will be the team's coach for LeBron's second season in L.A. Despite the fact that Luke Walton has yet to be fired, the latest name being floated for the job is Jason Kidd, who didn't exactly throw cold water on the idea, saying when you have the opportunity to be a part of the Lakers, you can't turn it down. He also went on to talk about, how much he'd love to coach LeBron James. I find this kind of disrespectful. This is unprecedented in terms of you have a sitting coach and people are openly talking about replacing him. That's not really common in the coaching ranks and circles. And if you just go look at Jason Kidd's history, how he went straight from a player to coaching the Nets when Brian Shaw thought he had the Nets job, to while he's with the Nets, to jumping over to Milwaukee and replacing Larry Drew. This is kind of his MO, man. I mean, I hope he doesn't start talking about, hey, man, I think I'd be good against with Marcellus on Speak for Yourself.
You smoked out of here, then. You already know. You know what? It's interesting. I can't argue that, but I don't think this was disrespectful because it was almost unprecedented. Like, Vegas has him as the odds favorite to be the Lakers' next head coach, and then he just mysteriously appears on television that day, and they were poking and prodding him. So unless you want the Russell Wilson robot answers, and we all know that's what PC can be.
You got to do the interview.
Just pull the string, say anything, pull the string, say anything. Being a human being in that moment, I think he did the most respectful interview he could in terms of saying what a human being would say. It's the Lakers. We know how big it is. It's LeBron. We know how big he is. Yeah, I would love the opportunity. But Luke is doing an incredible job. So
for the next 2 weeks.
Well, that's on the Lakers, not on Jason Kidd. I thought he did a respectful job.
I'm with both. Listen, I think it's disrespectful because now the energy that Luke holds throughout this process, just like the kids when they were almost getting traded.
Yeah.
Their energy's messed up. Luke's energy, your smile is not a 100% smile anymore, right? Your enthusiasm, the way you draw up plays, that's not the same anymore. And to speak about Jason Kidd before you speak about Ty Lue or Mark Jackson, to me, that's a little disrespectful to them as well. You got Avery Johnson, of course he's in Alabama. He did a really good job. Right, but I'm saying, well, some people get fired. Dwayne Casey got fired and he was coach of the year. Right, but what I'm saying is you have guys that are, really good candidates. Not saying that Jason Kidd is not, but he's not the first one you talk about. And yes, it is disrespectful because now it's on Luke to think about this every single day. He's living in Manhattan Beach and people are talking to him all day, every day. How do you smile? How do you even work in that?
This again, and I'm not trying to crack anybody's funny bone, but when I say there's a privilege to being an athlete and to having walked off a college campus, 18, 19, 20 years old, instant millionaire, Jason Kidd's probably made more than $100 million as an NBA player.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a part of the coaching fraternity. He didn't start off in the video room making $20,000 a year. He's not Eric Spoelstra. He's not Greg Popovich. He's not a part of the fraternity of coaches, and so he doesn't act like a coach. If you were part of that fraternity, you don't do these type of things. But if you're sitting on more than $100 million as a player, and Rich Paul, and you're doing the bidding of Rich Paul and not actually serving the interest of other coaches or have any really respect for Jeannie Buss and the Lakers. That to me, and the fact that he thinks he can do this without offending the Lakers and Jeannie Buss, who hired Luke Walton. That's her employee that he's treating like a cadaver. He thinks he can get away with it.
You think he's offending the Lakers and Jeannie Buss when he's...
That's her employee. I hope that if Eric Shanks or Charlie Dixon is somebody out there talking about my job...
But I think it's more about Luke.
No respect for Luke?
Yeah, no respect for Luke. I seriously doubt it's Jeannie Buss and the Lakers.
Yeah, because you're going to need them to employ him, if anything.
I'm saying if I were Jeannie Buss, and that was my employee that I've made promises to, and there's someone out there talking about replacing him while he still has the... I would be offended. But clearly he thinks there's no risk there because Magic or Rich Paul or LeBron have made a decision, and it doesn't matter who Jeannie Buss hired. It doesn't matter what the owner thinks. I can talk about this man like he's a cadaver.
Well, you know what? One thing to lean into what you're saying, it's a smart play. If in full agreement with you, it's a smart play if you're Jason Kidd to put your name out there in the hat right now. You know why? Two things will happen. By the time that the decision needs to be made, people will have fatigue in terms of their response. People are not going to be as adamant and mad at you, Jason Kidd, and disrespecting the Lakers by July. And then also, it's smart because you want to see what this fan base is going to get accustomed to in terms of, can Jason Kidd be the coach? Let's see. Put your finger out there. Let's read it. Let's see what he leads.
Well, whoever the Lakers end up with as their head coach, they'll have their work cut out for them. Just about everyone seems to agree LeBron's first season in L.A. has been a disaster. Everyone except Dwayne Wade. The Heat star actually thinks his buddy LeBron has had an MVP caliber year that only got derailed by LeBron's injury. I think this is unhealthy for LeBron. I think he doesn't need his buddies and respected guys in the NBA. Hey, man, I know you've only won 31, 32 games. You're not going to make the playoffs. But you were an MVP. You had an MVP-type season. It's not you, LeBron. This is the bubble of greatness. When you are that great, no one tells you the truth, and any shortcomings are rationalized.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I will say this. It's not a great look because when you try to pick your boy up, always remember, people are going to read it as your boy is down. And that's not fair because LeBron, by his numbers this year, even though there may be some empty calories, is not necessarily down. This fits conveniently at the top of LeBron in terms of his resume, some top 5 career numbers for him. If you want to talk about points per game and you talk about his rebounds, it's a career high, assists per game. Like, LeBron is doing his part. But as we all know, we perceive it differently. If you make the playoffs or go to the championship like he did last year, or you're a team on the outside looking in, those same numbers, we've all been a part of it. You give them the same amount of sacks, give them the same amount of points. Did y'all win or lose?
All sacks ain't the same, Marcel.
I get it, but you know what? At the same time, that's your effort being rewarded by you actually making a play. LeBron's making plays.
You guys make good points. Now, MVP stats is not the same thing, right? When you deal with as an MVP season, it's not the same thing.
Right.
I can have MVP stats, 27, 50 from the field goal, 33.8 from 3. Run it all down, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Yeah, but still, that's not an MVP season. That's MVP stats. That's totally different. And I understand Dwayne Wade. But LeBron James is in the Western Conference now. It's totally different. It's totally different Western Conference. There are no breaks. There is no breaks. Is Dwayne Wade, because he's one of his best friends, is he sticking up for him? No, he is having an MVP season stat-wise. Not playing-wise.
How about playing-wise? Christmas Day, they beat Golden State by 20 up there before.
Everybody's beating Golden State this year.
Well, at that moment, I'm saying he said the main reason is because of the injury. And LeBron, in that moment,
I agree.
Was he having an MVP season on top of this at that moment?
LeBron James in 15 years, 14 years, LeBron James, to me, has been always top 5 MVP talks, if not the #1 MVP guy. That's just, his stats will always be like this.
Right.
That's just like going to sleep in bed, he can get this.
Yeah.
The point is when you start getting older, your stats, you have to do more, like 05 or 04 against Detroit when he had 23 in the fourth quarter. You can't will yourself because now you're older. So you need more counterparts to will, because when you're younger, you can uplift your team more with your energy. When you're older, you can have those stats, but when you're older, you need other people involved so those stats can really mean something.
And look, man, it's not reflected in the stats, but the biggest problem for LeBron James this year has been defensive effort. Right. That counts as terms of MVP season.
Yeah.
You know, if you play no defense or you're unreliable on defense, you're not having an MVP caliber season. Dwayne Wade needs to tell his boy the truth. You got to step up your game up. Get your weight up. Coming up, is it time to worry about Russell Westbrook?